Good morning, Roll Gang, and welcome on in to the Island edition of the Weekday Wake and Bake. I am your host, Processor Sky, here with a terpene Tuesday episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. And today, we're going to get into the story of one of the most popular strains in the history of our beautiful plant, OG Kush. And we're going to learn about where the strain was originated and how it was bred, and all types of fun facts about OG Kush since we're on the islands, and it actually kind of has to do with the ocean, maybe. So, super excited for today's episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake, coming to you live from Florida on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Everybody tapping in today. You guys are all the shit. I appreciate every single one of you. And without further ado, let's get on into this episode of the show. But before I get on into the history of OG Kush, I wanted to give a quick shout out to the main sponsors of the show this morning. First and foremost, the Rolling Spoon, the ultimate cannabis multi-tool. It helps you roll a dime every time, and just scoop your herbs so you don't have to be so rudimentary and pinch at it like an ape would. But anyways, no name calling. But anyways, also brought to you by my alma mater, Oaksterdam University, the first ever cannabis college and one of a kind education in this beautiful industry surrounding this beautiful plant. Use promo code Rolling Spoon to get 10% off tuition at Oaksterdam University. Call it your Rolling Spoon scholarship to go and get your cannabis education from Oaksterdam. But today, we are going to get a cannabis education on OG Kush, one of the most popular cannabis strains in the history of the United States cannabis market. A classic cross between a landrace and a very, very popular black market cut. So let's get on into this episode. Let's dive a little bit deeper into OG Kush and the origination. So today's episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake is coming from the islands, right by the ocean. So I thought it'd only be natural to talk about OG Kush, because after all, OG does not stand for original gangster or just original or anything like that. It stands for ocean grown. And since I'm chilling out by the ocean for this wake and bake ski that I'm about to have, I thought it'd be pretty natural to talk about the ocean-grown strain, the original ocean-grown strain, OG Kush. So, OG Kush is a cross between a landrace that was found in the Hindu Mountains, and these guys, this group of cultivators from Southern California, collabed with this guy named Matt Bubba Burger. And so Matt Bubba moved in with his cultivator friends in Southern California, and they ended up crossing Bubba's famous cut of Chemdog. So in New York, Matt Bubba Burger was growing this unbelievable cut of ChemDog, which is the super spicy caryophyllene strain. And it was so good that he renamed his cut of ChemDog Chemi. So he crossed this Chemi with the Hindu Mountain original landrace. So a landrace is found in nature, cultivated by Mother Nature. So he found a really great landrace called Hindu Kush, crossed it with his beloved Chemi, and out comes the love child, OG Kush. And at the time, in 1996, when it was first bred, it kind of blew the market wide open. They created a pretty big cultivation of it, and in 1997, OG Kush was reported to be worth up to $8,000 a pound. That is how dominant this strain was. And you guys know, like, back in the day, they didn't really maximize grow potential, but if you had some really bomb genetics, like the original OG Kush, it could transcend the way you grow it and just become an absolute phenom. Testing in the upwards of 18% in the late 1990s. So, I mean, absolutely crazy smoke. OG Kush. Shout out to Matt Bubba Burger and the boys in SoCal, growing the original crosses on a very large plot of land. Yes, you guessed it, right by the ocean. Hence the name Ocean Grown. So in OG Kush, the reason why it's such a special smoke is because it has such a wonderful entourage effect, meaning the additional terpenes and flavonoids in the smoke add to the experience to an extent that it makes it a little bit different than any other strain. So the iconic OG Kush has 3 very common terpenes in it that have basically originated from OG Kush. These terpenes are myrcene, limonene, and caryophyllene. And if you guys aren't, this is Terpene Tuesday, of course, brought to you by the Rolling Spoon Cannabis Multi-Tool. And these 3 terpenes are very important to the amazing entourage effect or additional effects you feel when you're smoking an OG Kush. What I'm smoking right now is some cheeseburger, and it's got heavy caryophyllene. So what that does for me is it actually stimulates my blood flow and restores equilibrium in the content of my blood. So basically, caryophyllene is an extremely powerful anti-inflammatory, also very commonly found in high doses in OG Kush. But the mix in the terpenes between myrcene and limonene is pretty much what makes the entourage effect so special for OG Kush. So myrcene is this relaxing, calming, sweet but herbal flavor, and it is known for its couch lock effect. But limonene is, on the opposing side, is super uplifting and heavy. And whenever you smoke some herb that has limonene in it, you're expected to have a nice brain function. And this kind of effect, when you're smoking OG Kush, where your body just becomes super relaxed and laid out, but your brain is firing, the synapses are connecting, it leads to this super lucid high that everybody was looking for and still is, which is the reason why OG Kush is the legendary strain that it is today and will forever go down in history as one of the best cannabis strains of all time. So, look out for some OG Kush. Have a nice puff of some OG or a different Kush strain, one of the descendants of OG Kush, maybe cookies, because Burner crossed OG Kush and Durban Poison and came out with the whole cookies strain. I mean, that's a whole different ball game. But anyways, I appreciate everybody tapping in here on this episode of the Weekday Wake and Bake. Every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time. You know where to find your processor. Today was a great Terpene Tuesday episode. If you guys are just tuning in, you can catch the whole episode posted on all 5 platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. So I appreciate all of you guys tuning in live and after the fact. And chopping it up about some OG. So I'm going to go out by the ocean and finish the rest of this joint. But I will see you guys tomorrow. And we're going to continue this island week of the Weekday Wake and Bakes. And we might even be getting on some island co-hosts, which is always a good time. So make sure to tune in tomorrow, 8 a.m. Pacific time, every weekday morning. The Weekday Wake and Bake with your host, Processor Sky. Peace. Have a great Tuesday, Roll Gang.